Ladies and gentlemen, let's raise a toast to the bride, Emma, a woman who believes in love so much. She took mine. The words tasted like champagne and vengeance. The room fell silent. I savor the moment. This wasn't how it was supposed to be. Once we were inseparable. My name is Olivia, and I've known Emma since we were kids. I was the quiet one, the one who had to work twice as hard for everything. Emma, on the other hand, had it all: beauty, charm, a last name that carried weight in this city. She was the girl everyone adored, including me. Emma wasn't just my best friend. She was my safe place. My sister in everything but blood. I trusted her with everything, my secrets, my fears, my heart. And for a long time I thought she felt the same way. It started as something small. I was curled up on my couch that evening, wrapped in my favorite blanket, my fingers lazily scrolling through my phone. It had been a rough day, work was draining, and all I wanted was a little comfort. A reminder that I was loved, that I had someone who was mine. So I texted him, my boyfriend, "Hey babe, send me a cute video of us. I want to keep it." A simple request, nothing unusual. The typing bubble appeared instantly. 3 dots, then a message. "Of course, baby. Give me a sec," he replied. I smiled, settling deeper into the cushions as I waited. This was the kind of thing that made me love him. The little ways he reassured me. The way he never hesitated when I needed him. Within moments, the video arrived. I clicked it without thinking. The screen brightened, filling with movement. At first, it was shaky. Just a blur of sheets and dim lighting. I grinned, expecting to hear my own laughter, to see some forgotten moment of us together in the warmth of our love. But then the camera focused, and I saw her, Emma, in my boyfriend's bed, in our bed. I sat up so fast. The blanket slid to the floor, forgotten. My chest tightened, breath hitching, like my lungs had forgotten how to work. My fingers trembled, hovering over the screen, but I couldn't look away. I needed this to be a mistake. It wasn't. No, this couldn't be, I said to myself. Then I heard it, Emma's voice, moaning his name. I swear for a second, my entire body forgot how to function. I just sat there, frozen, staring at the screen, waiting for it to change. Waiting for some sign that this was a mistake, that I was seeing it wrong. But I wasn't. There was no mistaking the way he touched her, the way his hands gripped her hips, the way his lips moved against her skin, whispering things I once thought were meant only for me. My vision blurred, my stomach twisted into a sickening knot. I pressed pause, rewound, played it again. Once, twice, a third time. Each time, the truth became more unbearable. This wasn't old footage. This wasn't before me. This was recent. And as if the universe wanted to drive the dagger in deeper, a new message popped up on my screen. "Hope you like it, baby. I love you," he said. A cold, suffocating silence filled my apartment. I could feel it creeping into my bones, a slow, sinking weight that made it impossible to breathe. And then, rage. It came in waves, first as a burning fire in my chest, then as a slow, pulsing heat behind my eyes. Emma, my best friend, the girl who stood beside me through every heartbreak, every tear. The same Emma who once told me, "You deserve a man who truly loves you, Olivia." And now, here she was, in my boyfriend's bed, ruining me with the same lips that used to comfort me. Something inside me snapped, not loudly, not violently, silently. And in that moment, I knew this wasn't over. It was a week later when my phone rang, Emma's name flashing across the screen. For a second, I just stared at it. How do you answer a call from someone who has no idea you've seen the worst version of them? How do you pretend nothing has changed when in reality, everything has? I took a breath, pressed accept, and forced a smile into my voice. "Hey, Em! Liv!" she squealed, excitement bubbling through the speaker. "You're free, right? I have something super important to ask you. I want you to be my maid of honor," she said. I closed my eyes. And just like that, it fell into place. Emma had no idea, no clue that I had already watched her moan my boyfriend's name. For a split second, I considered saying no, telling her exactly what I thought of her. But then I smiled. "Are you serious? Emma, I would love to." She still thought we were best friends. I knew I had to ruin her. But how? A part of me wanted to scream in her face, to rip her dream wedding apart. Another part wanted to let it go. Number not yet. I'd find the perfect moment, the perfect way. She wouldn't see it coming. She squealed again, rambling on about dress fittings, bachelorette plans, and color schemes. I barely heard any of it, because my mind was already somewhere else. I had been given the perfect role, the perfect opportunity. Emma wanted me beside her on her happiest day. I was going to make sure it became her worst. For the next few weeks, I played my part perfectly. I stood beside her at dress fittings, complimenting her choices with a soft, supportive smile. I helped her pick out wedding flowers, nodding as she debated between peonies or hydrangeas. I let her vent about wedding stress, listening intently, offering advice, pretending to care. I held back laughter when she worried about whether or not her groom was the one. And every time she hugged me, every time she gushed about how lucky she was to have me, I hugged her back just a little tighter. I thought of writing an anonymous letter to Emma that said, "I know what you did. I wonder if he does." But I never sent it. That would have been too easy. Instead, I waited, counting down the days, watching, planning. Soon, instead of wearing white, she'd be wearing shame. The morning of the wedding, I stood before the mirror, smoothing down my dress. My hands were steady, my heart calm. I arrived early, blending into the celebrations like I belonged, smiling at guests, sipping champagne, nodding along to conversations I didn't care about, waiting for my moment. The transition from the church wedding to the reception was flawless. Emma sat at the head table, glowing, the perfect bride. I watched her from my seat, sipping my champagne, feeling the weight of the moment pressing against my ribs. She thought she won. She had no idea. The DJ's voice echoed through the speakers, snapping me back to the present. And now, ladies and gentlemen, a very special toast from our maid of honor, Emma's lifelong best friend, Olivia. Yes, I had told the DJ beforehand I had something important to say. Applause erupted. I stood, smoothing down my dress, picking up my champagne glass with steady fingers. I turned to Emma and smiled. She beamed back at me in all happiness. I stepped up to the microphone. The music stopped. The room hushed. I tapped my glass gently, sending a crisp cling, cling, cling through the hall. Thank you, everyone. I promise I won't take up too much of your time. But I just wanted to say a few words about my best friend, Emma. I turned toward her, eyes warm, voice smooth. Let her feel safe. Let her believe this is normal. Emma and I met when we were kids, and from the very beginning, I knew she was special. The type of girl everyone gravitates toward. Beautiful, kind, charming, I said. The guests nodded, smiling. Emma blushed, ducking her head slightly. She's been there for me through everything. My ups, my downs, my heartbreaks. And so, when she asked me to be her maid of honor, I was honored. I mean, what a privilege to stand beside someone who has been such a constant presence in my life. I exhaled softly, setting my glass down on the table beside me. Then I turned back to the guests, lowering my voice just enough to make them lean in. And because Emma is such a wonderful person, I thought I'd put together something special. I lifted my phone, tapped the screen, and behind me, the projector came to life. The first images appeared, a slideshow of Emma and me as kids. The room relaxed. People smiled and murmured, "Aw," as photos of us flashed by. Two little girls, side by side, grinning, arms wrapped around each other. Best friends. I glanced at Emma. She laughed softly with a little tear in her eyes. She thinks she's safe. She isn't. The video continued. High school moments, college memories, blurry late-night selfies. Then, a flicker, a slight glitch in the footage. Emma's smile froze. The screen glitched again. Then, a new video. Not childhood, not college, not friendship. A hotel room, a bed, a man, a woman, Emma. There were gasps everywhere in the room, silverware clattering onto plates, the unmistakable sound of someone choking on their drink. Emma's face drained of color. Her hands shook violently, her champagne glass slipping slightly from her grip. On the screen, her moans filled the silence. The groom stood so fast, his chair screeched against the floor. "Emma! What the hell is this?" Emma whipped toward me, eyes wide, desperate. "Olivia, turn it off. Turn it off now," she called to me. She tried to stand, but I was faster. I simply lifted my glass again, slow, controlled, victorious. Marriage is about trust and honesty. Two things Emma knows very little about, right, Emma? The groom snapped his head toward her. "Tell me this isn't real." Emma's mouth opened and closed, her breath ragged. I can explain." I turned back to the guests. "Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to raise a toast to Emma, a woman so dedicated to love that she stole mine. Emma went straight ahead for the screen, trying to rip the projector cord out, but a guest stepped in her way, blocking her path. Her mother sobbed softly into a napkin. Her father sat stone-faced, his fingers gripping the edge of the table. The groom, once her future, looked at her like a stranger. The video ended. The silence was crushing. I picked up my champagne, taking a slow, satisfied sip before setting it down again. Then I turned to Emma, met her stunned, horrified eyes, and whispered, "I'd say I wish you both happiness, Emma, but you already stole mine." And with that, I turned and walked away. Behind me, chaos erupted. The whispers, the gasps, the muffled cries. The wedding was over. And I never looked back. What would you have done? Was my revenge justified, or did I go too far? Let me know in the comments below. And if you love stories like this, don't forget to like and subscribe for more.